Welcome to our online worship today. And while we cannot be in our beloved chapel building, we meet together in the spirit of love, kindness, and truth. My name is Alex Bradley, and I'm a Unitarian minister living and working in Cheshire. Our opening words are taken from two sources. Firstly, from the book of Proverbs in the Old Testament. My child, eat thou honey, for it is good, and a honeycomb which is sweet to thy taste. So shall the knowledge of wisdom be unto thy soul. When thou hast found it, there shall be a reward, and thy hope shall not be cut off. And then some words from a Celtic blessing. With faith there is love. With love there is peace. With peace there is blessing. With blessing there is God. And may the flame that we light at the start of our worship remind us of the light that is in each one of us. And may it be a light to guide our own way, and a light that may be a guide to others. And may we continue to walk in the light in our thoughts, in our words, and in our actions. Our loving thoughts and prayers and healing wishes go to all those who are ill or suffering in any way, all those who are struggling or lonely or isolated or cut off from family and friends. God of the day and of the night, whether we have begun this day alone or with another, we honour this day with all its potential and possibilities. We come to this day with trust, knowing that whatever the coming hours may bring, that we will be given the strength to carry on. We come to this day with hope, knowing that the day can hold kindness, forgiveness, and justice. We stand at the beginning of a new week. May we see ahead to all its potential for love and service. May we find joy in things great or small, and may we be comforted when we are sad or distressed. May we sense your loving presence all around us and within us, and may we demonstrate that love by the way we care for each other as well. Amen. Our first reading is taken from a selection of verses from the book of Genesis in the Old Testament and from Jesus' words in the Sermon on the Mount in the New Testament. They reveal the interest of the Bible writers in nature. And God said, "Let there be light," and there was light. And God saw the light that it was good. And God said, "Let the earth bring forth grass, the herb yielding seed and the fruit tree yielding fruit after his kind." And God said, "Let there be lights in the firmament of the heaven to divide the day from the night, and let them be for signs and for seasons and for days and for years." And God created great whales, and every living creature that moveth, which the waters brought forth abundantly after their kind, and every winged fowl after his kind. And God saw that it was good. And God blessed them, saying, "Be fruitful and multiply." And God said, "Let the earth bring forth the living creature after his kind, cattle and creeping thing and beast after his kind." And it was so. And God said, "Let us make man in our own image, after our likeness." So God created man in his own image. In the image of God he created him. Male and female he created them. And God blessed them. And from the Sermon on the Mount. Behold the fowls of the air, for they sow not, neither do they reap, nor gather into barns, yet your heavenly Father feeds them. Consider the lilies of the field, how they grow. They toil not, neither do they spin. And yet I say unto you that even Solomon in all his glory was not arrayed like one of these. And our second reading is a poem by the Welsh poet-priest R.S. Thomas called The Other. It is engraved on a slate slab outside the parish church in Aberdaron, where he served as the vicar for several years. There are nights that are so still that I can hear the small owl calling far off and a fox barking miles away. It is then that I lie in the lean hours awake, listening to the swell born somewhere in the Atlantic, rising and falling, rising and falling, wave on the long shore by the village that is without light and companionless. And the thought comes of that other being who is awake too, letting our prayers break on him, not like this for a few hours, but for days, for years, for eternity. Several years ago, my wife and I had a fortnight's holiday staying in self-catering accommodation in Wales, the first week in Ceredigion and the second on the Llyn Peninsula. Driving up to our second week's holiday, we saw a sign advertising a church with an open afternoon, stopped off for a coffee and a look around. And we were interested to find out that the Reverend R.S. Thomas had once been the vicar there. A couple of the older members who talked to us remembered him. We then travelled up to the Llyn Peninsula and on looking around Aberdaron found that Thomas had been the vicar of the church there as well. We bought this Celtic cross from a sale table featuring local artists in that church in Aberdaron. We did not only choose it because of its lovely design, but because it reflected something of our own religious outlook. It has the Christian cross, and it has also designs from nature, a tree, flowers, an apple, and the sun. And on the other side, it has two doves and what looks like a hare, as well as a man and a woman. And God saw that it was good. Those words from the Bible sum up the positive side to creation, to life on earth, and to our present situation. Shirley Toulson wrote a book called The Celtic Alternative, a reminder of the Christianity we have lost, about this venerable Christian tradition which centered on the glory of God's creation. And Shirley Toulson writes, on the whole, the Celtic Church was more concerned with celebrating life than recording death. Every living thing, from the domestic cat and kittens which play among the Cairo monogram in the Book of Kells, to the low-slung dragon-like lion in the Book of Chad, testifies to the lively delight which the monks obviously felt in the world around them. Their exuberance does not speak of a puritanical rejection of life, but of praise for nature's infinite variety. And those words from Shirley Toulson remind us that it is neither helpful nor practical to think of ourselves as human beings owning this world. It is better to think of ourselves as co-stewards with the rest of creation, as having been loaned its use for a little while, and who must pass it on for the use of others in the fullness of time. If it seems strange that we are co-stewards with our fellow creatures, perhaps we should consider the contribution made by every one of them to the ecological balance of our planet, even those that might be inconvenient to us at times, like wasps. Some are vital to our well-being, and yet they are in serious danger of extinction. The honeybee is one of those threatened species, and we have failed to face up to the effect of what we are doing to the natural habitats of so many species on land, at sea, and in the air. We are not masters of the universe, but part of the web of creation that exists in the mind of God. This cross is a Christian symbol, but it also depicts the rich variety of plants and animals in our world. The nimbus at its apex might be interpreted as representing the perfection of the divine, the God in whom we live and move and have our being. The design may well predate the Christian era, and if this is so, it can be seen as representing the perfect melding of ancient piety and Christian devotion, God and nature belonging together as two sides of a coin, part of the indivisible unity of being. This present health emergency has brought tragedy and heartbreak to many people and their loved ones. It has caused social dislocation and economic damage on a huge scale. All these effects are truly devastating to those affected by them. However, it has also been an opportunity to open our eyes to see the world as it might be. A world with less polluted air, a world where species can thrive. I have seen more bees this month than I have seen for many years. And in the Punjab in India, views of the Himalayas up to 100 miles away are opening up, which have not been visible for decades due to pollution. People are finding out new ways of relating to each other and to neighbours living close by, whom they previously never even knew. Just as we rely for our existence on the variety of plant and animal species, so we have come belatedly to recognise our dependence on each other, including the key workers who are sometimes all too often overlooked. This Celtic cross is a personal reminder of a happy holiday with lovely walks and breathtakingly beautiful views. And in my devotional life as a Unitarian, it stands as a symbol of the Christian religion at its highest and best, a religion of unity and peace. We have been lent this beautiful world to live in, and it is up to us how we use it. We can make it, or we can mar it. The choice is ours. May we choose wisely. Amen. And now a blessing to conclude our worship. May the water of life touch us with creative love. May the leaves of the tree of life heal us and our wounded world. May there be balance and harmony upon the earth, and may we walk gently upon her in all our ways. Amen.